And Greg is here for the first time, so he missed some of the stuff last week. I'm going to go ahead and mute you out now. And I was telling him I'm waiting on an email from a lady in the next class, so my whole screen is so busy right now with stuff. But I'm waiting to see a new email come through, and then I'm gonna have to unlock hers, mark her as paid to come in. For whatever reason, she's not getting any stuff from Citrix, but I know she's registered anyway. Um, so Greg, next, I don't know if you fooled around with looking for things here, but next to your name in the attendees list in the roster, you should find something that it looks like. How's it going, Bruce? That looks like putting like where you can raise your hand, or if you right-click your name, it should say hand up or something like that. See if you can find that and there you go. Okay, and then I can put it down from here. So that's what we use as we're playing. When we finish something, I'll say, did anyone have any trouble with that? And if you did, that's when you throw the hand up there. Did everyone play along with me? Boom. Okay. We're going to go back into and run through. Well, we got several things to do. One is the Cotton Eye Joe, which we did by ear, which I don't know if you actually went and did that, Greg, with the YouTube clip. And then we'll go ahead and run through Old Joe and Wabash. Make sure they're up to speed. And I'm looking at my hair, and it's just a mess. I've had one heck of a day today, boys. Oh, Greg, this is the one I got out there in Kansas. And it had fingerprints on it already, so I just left them there. All right, now, let's see here. Let me see what my levels are. Can you hear me okay? That's good? All right. We'll leave it there then. And also, Greg, if you didn't know, when you put your hand up, I can't. No one else can see it go up. I do want to mention something that's new on my site now, starting just the other day. Is you know, I've been using these Yellers, and I still do. I use these picks, and I've been using them for about 30 years, 35 years. And there's several things I like about them. One is that they're porous. I can hold on to them. They stick to moisture, so you know that'll stick to your skin real easy, and they won't slip around in your hand if you've got the proper grip. If you hold it with a pinch, nothing is safe unless you put glue sandpaper to it. But anyway, I've been using these forever, and I don't typically like designer picks. But a friend of mine over in Knoxville is Matt Goins, who runs the Blue Chip, and he's been trying to get me to use his picks for years. And every time I see him, he says, "You know, I'm learning everything I know how to play on guitar. I've learned from your DVDs." Well, he's so nice guy, you know. Sorry, Matt, I don't like designer picks. I'm not using them, and also they're too heavy for me. If I use anything heavier than an 88 or 89, then it starts to hurt my wrist. So I don't use heavier picks. On the other hand, a friend of mine, I don't want to say begged him to, but got him to make what he calls a 30. And a 30 is a .74, which is just one higher than what I use, a .73. And so email just came in. I had to check and see if that was from Vera. And anyway, point being is that now he's making these for me, and I have them on my website. These are called. Let me see if I can block me out so it'll focus in on that. That's a teardrop, a TD30. Come on in to focus, you. There it is. And you'll see these on my site. They're a little pricier. And then I also have 35s, which are .89. The .89 is right next to the greens that I use. I'll use this on the mandolin. I can use this on guitar. These actually feel really good on guitar, but these are what I've always used. And this is the lightest I'll go on a mandolin, and it's the heaviest I'll go on guitar. So that's why I keep it around. This is as light as I'll go on guitar, though I can use the green on guitar if I have to. So that's kind of the deal with that. Turn it up. Is that any better right there? I just turned it up a notch. Is that better, Bruce? Yeah, you know, Microsoft is messing with my volume. Let me see if I can do one more thing and bring my volume up just a hair more. Let's see how that should have made a difference right there as well. Okay. Okie dokie. All right. Okay, good. All right, so we're going to run through. Let me get my tea out of the way. I got my clock out of the way. And we should... Did you have any trouble? Anyone have any trouble on that Cotton Eye Joe? Did you get through that puppy? Anyone have any trouble? It looks like not. If I remember right, now tell me if I'm wrong. I think we did this. Was I pretty close on that? Okay, Bob's got it. Don's got it. Okay. Okay, so let's go ahead and run it. I think on the second part we just played it straight. I think that's what we did. So let's just keep the second part straight, and we'll do this first part with this high part. Because Greg, if you didn't, I don't know if you had a chance to check it. And actually now Vera's come in, so I can't believe this. Interruptions after interruption. Vera. Okay. I'm going to get rid of this screen. Hold on a second, guys. Sorry about this. Good enough. Okay. Here we go through Cotton Eye Joe. And like I was going to say, Greg, if you hadn't had it, yeah, you didn't have a chance to play it yet. So we'll go ahead and run through it. But Cotton Eye Joe is supposed to be this. 'Did was added in just an A lick. All it is an A lick. So once we have the foundation of the song down, then we add that in. Okay, boys, let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Here we go. Now, I'm gonna move that camera down. Bruce, we did it by ear. We didn't do it. We didn't do it with sheet music because part of this course in this 200 series is doing things by ear. So now, boys, tell me if I'm wrong. Did we do that, or am I thinking of someone else? Okay, so that means that we did. I'm assuming that means yes, that we did do it. All right. Okay, so let's hold that there then. You guys need to work on that, Cotton Eye Joe, and maybe next weekend we can all play it together. For right now, let's go ahead and move on. I want to do this Wabash. And, you know, Wabash, we'll go through it kind of slow. It had some really cool stuff in it. And it's the way the good Doc Watson shows us it's supposed to be done. So, for the most part. I've got a little of me in there too, but all right. Let's go ahead and run it kind of slow. And let me see, Bob. Let me see if Bob is. I'm going to see if. Do you have a question there, Bob? And
yeah, I noticed on that first measure there, was that meant to be a G instead of an A?
Are we in Wabash here?
Wabash Cannonball, yeah, where it goes in that first G, full G measure, you have a and open. I thought the melody went different than that, but
Well,
I'll see how you.
now the melody is going to be right,
Yeah.
and the way Doc showed us to do it, he's playing around with the melody on it, but the melody notes are still there. Actually, if I was going to do a straight by the melody, I would switch those eighth notes around. The 2 would be first, the open would be second. And then it would go into the slide into the B note, but it would be 2 D, it would be a B quarter and then 2 D quarter notes after that. That would be a straight way to play it, not a picking way to play it. Okay, so no, it's actually believe it or not, there's not a mistake there. But it's just different from what you're used to hearing. And that's something that, it's like when I show, for example, Old Joe Clark to someone. Well, I already know that one. I already got a version of it. Well, now here's a different version. The reason that this is a different version is because it has some other tricks in it that you got to get down. In this version, it has this. We need to get that down. And we need to get it down and make it sound really slick. One reason is that you'll use that little cross-picking roll, extending it out more, and you can use it in like Black Mountain Rag. See, so you'll use that quite a bit. And let me also, I'll just do this real quick. Typically, what I do, and I know you're not questioning my approach in this, but I always do licks and techniques in songs so that they are in context. Okay, so there are, in the first line I see two licks, and I also see one other that would be just like a filler. Here's the first lick. Here's the second lick. That one, I don't know where it's going until I get to the next measure. In this case, I'm going to a C, but I could probably go to a B. Okay? In this song, I'm going to a C, so that's a lick that takes me from anywhere in here into C. It's not just the third measure to Wabash Cannonball. It's an actual lick that you got to take out and put in something else. Let me open up your mic there, Bob. You're on the air.
Yeah, because what I was looking at was if you go down to the when you basically do that same thing where you go into that slide from the 3 to the 4.
Yeah.
It's different. And that's why I was wondering if it was supposed to be the same or if it made it different.
No.
That's what I was looking
at.
Yeah,
no, it's different. And it's the same as in Old Joe Clark. The first measure is the way it goes. The third measure is supposed to be the same as the first, but I changed it around a little bit. And then the fifth measure is supposed to be the same as the first, and it's definitely different. See what I mean? So I'm constantly changing things around and adding them, but it could have. Let me put it this: I'm going to mute you out. It could have been a mistake. In this case, it's not. So do not hesitate to bring those up because you may be right. But in this case, no. I wanted to. The difference is you can go from the open to the 2, or you can do it chromatically. Okay, so you have to be able to do both. Hopefully what's going to happen is you'll take the second one on the third line and move it to the top line. You don't have to do it all the time the same way. You do when we run through it, but when you're at the house working on this, you need to switch things up on your own. So if you have something that's similar that could fit in another place in the song, swap them out so you get used to interchangeable runs, because that's really what that is. Okay? All right, let's go ahead and try running through this, not too fast, so somewhere in here. Okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. at the top one more time. Okay. How did you guys do with that one? Did you make it through it with me? Good. Wow, good. All right. Um, I guess we can kind of leave it at that. We'll play through it one more time, maybe a little faster. There's just so much stuff in this break. Really get it down and get it so that you definitely have it memorized. Let me check something here. One thing I want you to try to do is take. Let's mark this page up, okay? Because I want to show you what I mean here. Like there's so much stuff on this page. If you took the last note of the second measure first line, it's an open third string, and go down to the third line, the last beat, the two notes of the third line second measure, the D and then the E or the 3 in the open, and that runs into that long G7 run. Brings me into C. It actually does the same thing that the first line third measure and fourth measure do. Okay, so if the first time you went through this you did it just like it is on the page, then the second time you did this you played the third line last two measures including the pickup notes and swap that into the first line last two measures including that one open single beat by itself, and took the top and moved it down to the third line, you would have something more like this. So let me take it from the end. I'm going to go back to the top. Now I'm on the second line. Now I'm going to take the stuff that's at the top line and move it into the third line. Now I'm on the fourth line. Okay. That is really cool. That is really important that you learn how to do that stuff, but you'll actually end up doing it on the fly. Once you get used to the licks and the situations that I'm putting you in, I won't have to explain it in such detail. You'll just start to do this stuff, and that's when it gets really cool, because now you have two versions of this out of this one, and it's going to keep you thinking. I'm going to stick that part up here, and I'm going to take that and move it down here, or I'm going to stick this up here, and I'm going to use it here and here. Or I'm going to take this one and move it down here, and I'm going to use it both times. So it could just keep rolling and rolling, but that's only swapping two measures out. I don't know if there's much more. You can swap out the part that Bob and I were talking about. You can swap those two out. You have to learn them both because I don't want you to pick one that's easier over the other. Okay, do you see what I'm getting at here, boys? Are we good there? You really need to try that. Okay, good. Good. Okay. I have nothing more to say on the Wabash, except that, oh, we were going to play it one time a little faster. Here we go. I got to get it in front of me, though. I'm kind of like, well, here we go. Let's go ahead and run it a little quicker. Somewhere in here. Let's see. Right in there. Well, I'm going to slow it down a hair. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Okay, because of time, we'll keep going. Did you get through that with me? At that speed? Ah, good. Hey, boys, we're doing all right. Okay, let's try this Old Joe. And like I was saying, the first measure is the theme to the song. In broken down all the way to its amoeba, it would just be that. Now we have this first measure all noted up. And you can take that first measure and put it where the third is and put it where the fifth is. Those are all the same thing. I can also take the third measure and put it where the first, third, and fifth is. Let's see. And I can take the fifth measure. This part is from Wabash Cannonball, and I used it in the, let's see, in the second line, third measure. It's a gift. I don't know how I do it. It's a gift, but that's what I do. Is I'll steal from this song and throw it in there when it's going to work, because this is just filler. It's instead of going, or instead of going, it's just filler. Okay, so anyway, did you see, go ahead and let me know, did you understand about swapping these measures out? Okay, good. So you have, like, I don't know how many different variations now that you can do on this. So every time you go through it, do something different. Take it from here and move it there. But let's do it the way it's writ. Okay? But that's what's so cool about this stuff. Once you understand what's really going on. And I don't know if those teachers out there actually explain stuff like that, you know? Because I don't know if they do that stuff. I think they may even just learn it one way, and that's what they got. No. Here we go. Let's go right around in here. Not too fast. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Here you go. Switch position. First position. right, now, did you get through these third line, those hammer-ons? It's a down, up, down. Okay, are you catching it that way? That's most important. It's like I got a mosquito on me. Okay, so I got one. How about you other guys? Are you catching it that way? Down, up, down. And it'll time out in when you hear it go by. Okay, down, up, down. Down, up, down. Down, up, down. Okay. I guess then, and Bruce, how are you doing on that? Okay. All right, let's go ahead and pick it up just a little bit. Actually, let's do it at the same speed. How are you guys doing on measure 5? With that pull off in there? You doing okay? So, okay. Let's put that measure in, and you may want to put a mark over the first, third, and fifth measure. Those are our target measures. Okay? First, third, and fifth. So just put a little asterisk or get a highlighter and put a strike through there or something, you know. Okay? So we're going to put that third measure. We're going to take that fifth measure and move it into the first, third, and fifth. Actually, let's do it because we got to repeat this anyway. Let's do that the first time. Let's take the first measure, which you should know as a standard thing, and move it to the first, third, and fifth next time. Okay? First time through, we're taking measure 5. Second time through, we're going to take measure 1. Good luck. 1, 2, ready, go. Okay, now the first measure. Did it work for you? Let me see how you did on that. Okay, good. Okay, good. All right, we don't need to mess with it anymore, because that's the cool thing about that. So if you need to go back to the YouTube, we're at 29 minutes in. I don't know if I'm going to edit a lot out of the first the first couple minutes. So somewhere around 27 minutes, take a look at the YouTube video. But I think you got it. I don't think we have to really dwell much there. And I will, from time to time, let you know, when there's places in the song we can mix around. Okay, we still have a lot to do. I have this one lick I need to show you. This will be by ear, Bruce, so now I don't have it written down. What we're going to do is eighth notes. So now you know it's down, up, down, up. You're going to hit the second string open, third string open, third string second fret, second string open. For the note readers in the group, so it's a B, G, A, B. For the tab readers, the second string open, third string open, third string second fret, and then the second string open. And those are all down ups, okay? So it's down, okay? All right, let's put that in a loop so that we're not stopping at the end of it, so it's just straight eighths. So it'll sound like. Okay. All right, here we go. Try that 2 and 3 and 4 and. We okay there? All right. Is that okay? Okay, now go ahead and try to do that starting on the second. You're starting on the second string. One time, move it to the third string. 4th string, 5th string, all of the 2nd fret, just walking it straight down. So you're doing it on the 2nd and 3rd string, shifted up, 3rd and 4th, shifted up, 4th and 5th, shifted up, 5th and 6th. And then when we finish, we're going to finish with the big wide one. So it'll be 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, ready, go. 3rd string, 4th string, 5th string, the big wide one. 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 again. And 2 and 3 and 4 and. Yeah, I do have a mosquito that's dogging me here. All right, are you okay? I got to put your hands down from the last question. Are you okay with that? You just have to be kind of, sorta. Okay, we're good then, right? All right, so here's the deal. When you turn, there you go. When you turn a pair of striked notes into a hammer-on, I gotta put your hands down here. Oh, come on, I can't do it left-handed. When you have a pair of eighth notes that we turn into a hammer-on, the right hand still has to do what it was doing, and it was going down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Now, if I turn that open to a 2 into a hammer-on, the right hand still has to hit the next note in the direction it was hitting it before, which means that we're going to go down, up, fake the swing with the right hand as you do the hammer-on, and then come up with the last note open. So it's a down, up, fake the swing. Now, I'm having you fake the swing because I really feel that that it's easier to swing your right hand wide in order not to in order that the hand does not stop, because when the hand stops, then you can change pick direction. But if it's constantly moving this way, you can't change the pick direction without really physically wanting to do it. Okay, so you're just swinging it like a pendulum. You're going to get that hammer-on in there, and then the right hand still has to hit the last note at the time that it was going to hit it before. If I stop my hand, then I have to remember that I've got 2 ups in a row. Now, when you do it fast, it's like that, and it's a down, up, up, and the hand doesn't have to move as far, but it's still thinking. See, it's not stopping at all. All right, so try that. Down, up, up, down, up, up, down, up, up, down, up, up. Okay. Are we good with that? Let me see what you're thinking. Okay. Any questions on it? So they're eighth notes. You're turning the middle into a hammer-on. So here's your 4 eighth notes going by, right? You got a line drawn across there. It's a down. It was down, up, down, up. These two now have a tie over them, right? So it's a down, up, fake the down swing here, and then the last one is always an up. So it's down, up, fake, up, down, up, down, up, up. Okay. Bruce. All right, so then now what we're going to do is do it on each set of strings all the way down, so it'll sound like this. And we're at 36 minutes in. So when you look at the YouTube clip, just you can zoom it up to 36 minutes for this. guess I'm doing 2 measures of G after because it's really a 2-measure run. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and I'm just being symmetrical. Okay, that's something you'll need to work on, but it's a Norman Blake-esque kind of run, because he always had this really free-flowing right hand, and I've heard him do short parts of that, not all the way down to the end, like I'm doing it for you, but it ends up being a G, G. So it's a G measure and then a DG measure, and it would sound like. So if you have a song like what that was, it was a measure G, and then went to C, then went to G, then went to D. Now we're in the middle, okay? Now, and you're rambling around. You're just playing stuff. All right, now we're in the middle. Here's winding up to the end. It'll probably do that. It'll probably have that same chord format at the end, and this is just a great run to take it out. Okay, so work on that. The point of it is the hammer-on in the middle of the eighth notes. And now we go on to temperance reel. Because if you look at the third line, first measure, it's exactly the same thing. You're going to have a tied note in the middle of the eighth notes. So you're going to, we're on measure 10. So you're going to go down on the first one, up on the second, fake the swing for the tied note, and then come up on the fourth. Okay? Same thing happens in the third measure, same thing happens in the fifth measure. Okay? All right, so that's why we did the exercise, and now we actually see it in a tune. And you also see it in Turkey in the Straw in the second part. On the first measure, second measure, we're on line 3. All of those measures have the same right hand issue. Okay? All right, let me run through temperance reel first. I think I think you'll be fine with it. I do have a stem that's missing off of the 2 at the very beginning on those triplets. That's a triplet thing there. I don't know why the stem chose not to print, but it chose not to. So anyway, that's a triplet. It's really the same as the end of the first ending on the second line. Open 2-4 triplet. And the triplet there, if you're hitting the, say, stop stammering, Steve. What I do when I do that, I want to point out is I'm not having a stroke and I'm not having a seizure. I try to find a way to make an analogy to a lick. The analogy that I choose, and what I'm doing is deciding whether it's important enough to talk about it. That triplet there will sound like this. And I always practice it to the next note because there's no time between the 3 notes of the triplet, da-da-da. But there's also right at the end here, da-da-da. There's no time between that one and the next note. Because it's, if you got the way your timing works in notes, it's when you hit this one, it's how quick do you hit this one that makes this one what it is. So it's hitting this one first, then how fast do I hit this one relative to this? That's the timing there. This one gets hit relative to this, but this one, how long is it? It depends on how fast it takes me to get to the next note. So I really got to hit 4 notes to get the proper time of a 3-note triplet. That got pretty deep right there. So it would sound like this. I'm I'm going to go on to the next note. So my stammering a second ago is it important enough to say it's like the intro to the Addams Family? That's what was going on in my head then. Should I talk about the Addams Family or not? So it's this. Okay, now I got it out of my system. All right, that is the time. That's how you practice the time of a triplet. You have to do 4 notes in order to get the 3 to time out right. Okay, in this case, it does the triplet and then runs, and it starts with a down, and then the next note is a down as well. Okay, in this case, it jumps right into a string of eighth notes. Okay, let me go ahead and run through it, and then we'll see if there's anything else we need to discuss. I know something I want to talk about right here. Before I play it, so you can actually analyze what I'm doing. When I play in the key of G, I play in second position, and we may have talked about this before. I know I talked about it near the end of the 100 series. We talk about different positions. If you think of, and I got to hurry up through this. If you think of the chords and the way you hold the chords, that's also going to tell you your positions that you play out of. For example, when I play a G, I put my first finger on the second fret, second finger on the third. That puts me in second position, meaning that my first finger is going to get all the second frets that come up. Second finger gets all the thirds. Third finger gets all the fourths. There's not many, and when you play in the key of G, there's not many first frets that will occur. You'll have a C note that'll occur, and that's something you see in the second measure, first line. But what I'm actually doing is I'm starting in second position, and if you're not used to doing this, you need to get used to doing this, because it's gonna rock your world when you get it comfortable. All right, you don't have to play back here, because if I did this in first position, this finger is only going to come up one time and hit that one first fret in that measure, and then also on the line below. Okay, and that's it. All right, so here we go. I'm starting in second position, so my first finger's getting the twos, third finger's getting the fours. At the E note, first string open of the second measure, I'm going to shift back to first position, but only for that 1 second. Then I got my opens, I'm back to second. Open E, switch back. See that? Switch. Now watch the down ups here. Down, up, down. Switch, and then right back to the second position. Down, up, down. Second position all the way through here. Okay, so if you need to circle anything, you're going to circle the last 2 notes of the first line, second measure, the last 2 notes of the second line, second measure, the last 2 notes of the last line, measure 15, the last 2 notes of that measure, first measure there. Those are the only times you're going to have to shift back to first position. The rest of it's going to be played up in second. Are we good on that? I think we got it. Okay, now there's an added measure in here where I'm going to do a hammer-on triplet. I didn't write the fingers over this, but I use my first finger for the 3, second finger for the 4, and then I back it up and take my second finger and slide up to the 5th fret. So Okay, first and second finger, then the second. And then I'm going to go to the first finger on the open 2. And that measure, when you have this darn good, will substitute in on these 2 E minor measures where I have the asterisk. So it'll sound like this. Okay, is that one clear? Now, I didn't see clear as mud, right? I was going to say I didn't see any hands going up, but I think you got it. All right, good. Let me run in the turkey and the straw. And this is the last time that we'll be doing 2 songs in 1 week, because it piles up. And as things, what I try to do is get incrementally more difficult as we go along, it ever so slightly, or it may just be a technique that we're adding into something. But if we had 2 songs to work on every week, plus all this other stuff we're talking about, it'll make you do this. It pull your hair right out. So we're not going to do that. All right? So let me run this one. The only thing on this to discuss, I think, are going to be the 2 ups in a row. Now, I have your fingers marked because I have you in second position. Right? Third finger, and then the first finger. The numbers between the notes and the tab are your left-hand fingers. So there's a lot of stuff going on there as well. At the end, let's look at the first line. Last 2 measures of the first line. I have you playing the B's on the second, instead of the second string open, because for a fast run like that, it's easier to just to stay on one string and go back and forth. Did I get it? No, grasshopper. It's easier to stay on one string. But then I'm going to have you do a position shift back to get the 2 and the 1. You'll notice the chord that's written right above that is D7. Really, that's what we're doing, is going back and hitting D7 notes. Okay? So it's allowing you to get back there. But for the most part, I'm using the third string 4th fret instead of the second string open. And I think that's the only... Well, you'll see it also at the first endings, right? Instead of going... And this is what I call it the Mickey Mouse lick. M-O-U-S-E, right? It's easier to stay confined to the 2 strings than to go the distance of the 3 strings. But sometimes you have to. It depends on the run, how it sets up. But in this case, you don't have to work so hard. just stay on the 2 strings. In case that question was going to come up in your mind. Okay? Let's see. Okay, any questions on that? Anything there? Okay, good. We have several things that you're working on now. You're interchanging measures in Old Joe Clark. And actually, I'm going to go back so I don't miss anything. I want to go back and look at these pages. Wabash, you know, we were talking about taking the last two measures of the first line and swapping them, including the pickup note that is preceding that, the pickup beat that's preceding, which means it's a full beat. So in one case it's a quarter note, in another case it's 2/8 notes. Okay, but we're talking about swapping those out. That's really cool stuff. I don't think that we talked about any other swap outs with the exception of the 2 little notes that Bob brought up earlier of the right before the slide into this G-shaped position. Okay, so that's one thing in Wabash. And we get an Old Joe Clark. And you're going to take the first measure and put it where 1, 3, and 5 are. You're going to take the third measure and put it where 1, 3, and 5 are. You're going to take the fifth measure and put it where 1, 3, and 5 are. Okay? We don't have anything that we're changing on the second part. We're going to leave it alone, thank goodness. Okay? Then we have this Norman Blake lick that we have to master. Because you have to get it to flow grasshopper just like it was like you were a folkie doing a folk strum. It's a real flowing thing that you have to be able to do it really smoothly. And, you know, if you wanted to go the distance here, you could try that for C. But I think you'll start to get that as time goes on. So I don't know that we really have to do that now. But, you know, if you were looking, if you get just so happen to get bored this week, play and figure it out for C. Okay, then we get into temperance reel. We're getting it down the page here. We're watching the down ups. We're playing in second position. When I play in the key of G, I'm in second position. And think of the chord. When I play in D, I play in second position. That's why in Wabash Cannonball, that's a D lick right there. Into a G lick. Okay, it's somewhere probably around the third line. It shows up twice. Maybe it's on the second line and the fourth line. It's right before it. Okay, but that's D stuff, so I'm in second position. If I play in C or C stuff, I have to go back to first position. If I play out of the key of F, in the key of F, I'm going to be in first position. B flat, if I played there, I'm going to be in first position. If I play in the key of A, I'm probably going to be in second position. Because there's no first frets, or very few. And if there was a first fret that showed up, it will probably have an open string close to it that I can shift back to position, to first position, and get back. If I'm playing in D minor, I'll be in first position. If I'm playing in A minor, in the high part, at least, I'll be in first position. In the low part, I may be in second position. hard to say. But I'm not going to have many first frets show up. If I have a lot of first frets show up, then I know I'm going to get back into first position by using using an open string around it. So positions are real important. That's all I want to stress right now. The author strongly suggests that you play this G stuff at a second position using the fingers that are marked. Okay, any questions on anything? Do we got that, boys? Okay, good. Oh, there is a question there. Let me see. Wait a second. Don, you're on the air. Don, you're on.
No question. Just holding my hand up to say I got it.
Oh, sorry about that.
No question. Just holding my hand up to say.
Good, good. And is that the same with everybody then? We're all good? Okay. All right. All good. And that's you too, right, Bob? Or is there a question there? I shouldn't ask two questions that are the opposite, but I guess we'll leave it there. All right. Let's go ahead and hold it there then. I got to still find out what's going on with Vera. She's got about 10 minutes to get in on the next class. And I'll send out your Dropbox files in the morning and your YouTube links. Okay? And then otherwise, I'll see you next week. If you have any questions, just send me an email, okay? And we'll hold it there. See you next time, guys.